Okay, this is just going to be a brief discussion and review of the Hot Toys Robert Pattinson Batman the from the movie The Batman. And I'll just briefly go over the accessories, and then I'll show my how I've been having my figure displayed at the end, and I've got the Bat Cycle with it, so you'll get to see it with in all its glory with the Bat Signal and the Bat Cycle and all that good stuff. So, I guess my overall thoughts on this figure is that it definitely is one of Hot Toys' best figures to date. I think I've been collecting this stuff, as I've said in previous videos, since 2008. And if you just look at the detail on this guy, just look at the detail on the outfit, and the articulation. I like how this head is attached magnetically. It could easily be removed and replaced. But overall, just a very well done figure. This actually comes with, and I forget to mention this in the accessories section, but it actually comes with an extra cape too, and they've kind of hid it inside the box, so I'd forgotten that it was there. But that's a posable cape for if you're sitting him on the motorcycle to make it look like he's riding it. So I've already recorded the accessories section of this, but just I'd forgotten to mention there that it does come with an extra cape. But there's a lot of stuff that this figure comes with. I don't really plan on using, at least not right now, because you'll see at the end of the video the way I have this guy posed and displayed is really, I think, pretty much perfect. So yeah, it's really an incredible figure. So I guess the $1,000,000 question is, should you get this version or the in-art version? And it really all just kind of comes down to, is this your favorite movie? Is this your favorite incarnation of Batman? Is the movie in your top 10, that kind of thing? So I only own one in-art figure, and that's the Heath Ledger Joker, and that's just because the Dark Knight's in my top 5. The Joker's one of my all-time favorite characters. Heath Ledger's portrayal is my favorite portrayal of that character. So for me, it was worth popping down the extra chunk of change to spend on that character. And so I would say, if this is your favorite Batman, then definitely get the in-art version if you still can. Now, I mean, I've had this figure for about a month and a half now, and I've not really had time to get it out and review it until now. And by now there's already plenty of other, like Justin from Justin's Collection did his, and Jedi Patrol did his, and I think Dean Knight did a review on it. So there's already plenty of reviews, so I don't really have a whole lot to add. But when it comes to this figure versus the in-art version, yes, the in-art is clearly better. I mean, I don't own the in-art, but just from the video reviews that I've seen of it and photos I've seen, we can all, I think, pretty much agree the in-art is the better version. But I still got this one. I think I pre-ordered it before in-art even announced theirs. But even at that point, I thought briefly about getting the in-art version, and then I thought, well, there's really not enough to justify it. I mean, this is, I love this iteration of Batman, but it's always going to be, at least at best, it's going to be second place behind the Dark Knight trilogy and the Christian Bale version to me. So if in-art ever does a Batman Begins Batman, which I hope they do, because all the Hot Toys versions are lacking in various ways, I'll definitely get that. But just considering the price point of the in-art figures, at least to me, if you're kind of just an average Joe kind of collector where you're limited on money and space and that kind of thing, it really just kind of, I think, needs to come down to, well, how much do you like this particular character, this particular movie? And so this movie, The Batman, it's not in my top 10, but it's really, really close. I mean, I would almost put it at number, if not number 10, maybe number 11 or 12 as far as favorite movies. And I found that it helps to rank your favorite movies too, because it kind of helps guide your collecting. It's like when you're tempted to buy anything and everything, you can ask yourself, okay, is this from a movie that's even in my top 10 or top 20? And that's actually come to help me pass on some figures I would have otherwise just impulse bought. So when it comes to Hot Toys versus InArt, yeah, the InArt is better in every conceivable way. I mean, I believe that even though I don't have the InArt myself, I don't have it in hand. But if this were my favorite Batman, then I definitely would have gotten that instead of this one. I would have canceled my pre-order on this and just picked up the InArt, or I would have even gotten both. I don't know. So that's kind of a decision that you have to make on your own. It really just depends. And so this, I would say, this is my second favorite on-screen live-action Batman after the Christian Bale version, but it's kind of a close second. So, or it's not even close. It's a distant second. I mean, so it all just depends on how much you like the character, that iteration of the character. And we've gotten so many different versions of Batman over the years that I've had to just make those kinds of decisions. Like, out of all the different iterations, which versions of Batman are my favorite, and which ones are ones that I could do without. So as far as the aftermarket value on this guy, I think it's sold out on Sideshow's website, but I think it can still be had other places. I think Alter Ego might still have it in stock. And I've not really looked at the prices on eBay too much. It looks like it's holding its value fairly well on eBay, but I'm sure if you look long enough, you can probably find it for below retail because it's already got the InArt version out competing with it. So, and not only that, but how Hot Toys is. They're going to keep remaking this figure in the future. They'll either make a 2.0 version of this, or they will come out with whenever the next movie in this series comes out, they'll make a figure based on that. It may have the exact same bat suit on, same armor, and all that kind of stuff. And so that will drive the value down as well. So this is something that I don't see holding up well in the aftermarket. We see how many Christian Bale Batman figures they're making, and this is a pretty popular Batman as well. So they will be making more. So this isn't something to spend a whole lot on the aftermarket. This is something where you can just kind of wait around and snag a deal. But yeah, so with this set, it comes with a ton of stuff, which I'll go over here in a little bit in the next section. And so, but the figure is just extremely well done. Great likeness to Robert Pattinson. The bat signal looks fantastic. Although, as I'll talk about a little bit later, the once you once you realize, I didn't even notice till Justin and Jetta pointed it out, but when you turn that light on and it's like the white blue light instead of like more of the soft glowing orange, you can't really unsee that because it's just not screen accurate. But I mean, it's still cool to have. But so overall, it makes for a really awesome display. And if you're a Batman fan, you're a fan of this film, I would highly recommend it. And if this is your favorite Batman, your all-time favorite, this is your favorite version of the character, and this is one of your favorite movies, and maybe even skip this and go for the InArt.
All right, just to go over the accessories real quick. Not going to go into too much detail because it's already been done on other channels, but as usual, you have all the extra hands that he comes with, and these are the relaxed hands that he comes wearing. And then you have a pair of fists, a pair of gripping hands, and a pair of hands for holding this gun for, I think this isn't a grappling gun, I don't think. I think this is just for like those sticky bombs. And then this one splayed hand, I guess just for gesturing. There's not really anything that it would grip. A couple of die cast batarangs. So you have this one which is all the way out, and this one which is folded in a little bit more, and these are sculpted. Feel like they're die cast, and so they are die cast according to Sideshow's page that I'm looking at over here. So definitely sculpted and painted well. Pair of handcuffs, then a pair of grappling hooks. And the Batman in this movie had a pretty cool system where it would just shoot directly out of the gauntlets. So all you would do here is just pull this guy off, and then take this one and see, I mean, this may be the wrong hand. Make sure you got the right one for the right side. There you go. And there he's shooting the grappling hook just straight out of his gauntlet. Then you have a grappling hook that can go directly in here. Then you have another grappling hook that shoots out. Then you have some riddles. I think it's a replica of some of the same cards and same envelopes from the film. I'm not using these because I already have a custom Riddler that comes with all of that, but still nice to have. Then here's the gun for I believe the little sticky bombs. And this guy just inserts in here, I believe, like that. And as you'll see, I have him holding this in one hand in my display while I've got the other hand just holding on to the bike, the handlebar. And these, I think, are the little energy booster thingamabobs that he injects himself with, or that I guess Catwoman injects in him when he then proceeds to beat the crap out of that Riddler goon. And then you have these two guys, and I'm not overly sure what these are. I do not know that they can go into the utility belt, though. And literally, it just says on Slideshow's page, just 4 utility tools. So I guess it's talking about these 4 right here. So yeah, utility tools, not super helpful, but hey, they're there. And anybody feel free in the comment section if you know what these are for, because I'm not. Could that be the flare, like when he's holding up when he's shining a light to help lead people out of the flood? I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure these are the energy boosters. And this is just a tool for you to use to swap out the eyes, take the eyes in and out on the cow. So there's all that. Then let's talk about I'll just show you the pieces for the base briefly. I'm not using the base for mine because you've seen my cabinet, or you will see it here in a minute. If you haven't seen it already in previous videos, I don't have the vertical space to really put him on this, or I guess I could have him stepping up on it with 1 foot, but I'd much rather have him on the bike. So this is like the end piece. So you have a railing here. You have this piece, so all this comes together. If you want to display them like that. And then this is the base with the nameplate. You got a couple of different cards that you can put over the top of this. So again, I'm not using any of that myself. That's just FYI. So, I mean, all this is well painted and sculpted and all that good stuff, but for me, I will be using the bike. I did actually assemble this briefly when I first got it. So remember, I got this figure over a month ago. It's been a couple of months ago now, I think. And I'm only just now had time to do the video, so I'm just kind of doing some of this from memory, but you just put those 2 pieces together like that. And then as far as the railing, See, I think you got this piece here that slides into so I think this goes on one side, this goes I think it's something like that, but so I mean it's a pretty cool base, and I think it lights up as well, but just like with the bat signal and the cycle, it's all with USB cable. So yeah, I'm not going to be using any of that myself, but there you go. And then for the signal, definitely very well painted and sculpted. It's got a very light weight to it. You'll get a better look at this in a minute when you see my display, my setup. So you got your on off here, you got your port on this end. So tells you here what you need. And of course the cables are not included with either this or the bat cycle set, but looks really good, even if you don't have it lit up. In fact, it almost looks more realistic when it's not lit up, because when you light it up, as you'll see in a little bit, and as you've probably seen in other videos, it lights up a very white, like a whitish blue color, whereas in the film it was more of a warm kind of yellow orange color. And so In Art got that right, Hot Toys got it wrong. So there you go. And we'll talk a little bit more about comparing the Hot Toys version to the In Art version. But for now, let's jump over to the unmasked head sculpt. So again, and this is a separate piece. So it comes out of here, goes on the neck, and then you'll just put this on the figure. So looks pretty good, I think. Not Hot Toys' absolute best of all time work, but it's okay. Then, as you may already know, you can swap out the hair pieces where it's like kind of more wet, matted down. Most people seem to prefer the dry look. I think they probably did a little bit better of a job on that, and I would agree. And of course, you have the consistency all the way around. So the strands are just a little bit too thick. It's not really stringy enough. I almost rather if they're going to do this, they would have had not just this piece, but also this piece as well. Have a separate piece here to go with this. Maybe have a little bit darker, give it more of a wet look. I don't know. I guess to me, it's all kind of a moot point, because I don't really plan on displaying mine with this. One thing I liked about this film is that you don't see a lot of Bruce Wayne. Like, most of the time he has the bat suit on, cowl and all. But again, it's always nice to have extras, irregardless. So here's the head sculpt that comes on. I mean, it looks like this piece just came unglued, so that's lovely. So you see back in here so here you have these little grooves where you can use this tool to manipulate the eyeballs back and forth. And again, it's not something that I don't think I'll be really using that too much, but it's still good to have, I suppose. Then there are swappable faceplates. So you have the slight open mouth expression, which looks really good. And the angry or surged up from that serum. That's kind of what that reminds me of, that scene. So also very well done, but I think for me, I'm mainly just going to be sticking with the ordinary faceplate with that just stoic expression. So those are all the accessories. It comes with quite a bit of stuff. You got plenty of options for displaying this guy. Also forgot to mention this, by the way. This is the parachute from that scene where he jumps off the building. And I forgot to mention this because really, I mean, honestly, who's going to display him with this? So again, good to have. I won't complain about having too many extras, but I don't plan on using this, and nobody else that I know of plans on using it either. But it is included, and I forgot to mention it. So there you go. On to the display. So here's my final setup for the Batman with the cycle and signal and all that. Everything set up together. And what I found works best for me in terms of the lighting situation is I just got the USB cables, plugged one in here, plugged one into the back of this, bought extension cables to hook those to. I have them running all the way down to my outlet down there. And I just have those cables just running out the corner underneath these doors. So I mean, you have different options. You can always, I mean, depending on what kind of cabinet you have, but for this cabinet, only other option would have been to drill holes like in one of these back panels, or I could have had it on the top shelf. There's already a hole up there for the lighting cable to go through, but of course I'm already using that for the lights. So for me, this works just fine. So I have these to where they blend in fairly well. So thankfully this is a black cabinet. All the panels and everything are black. And so I have them to where they're not too terribly obvious. So it's kind of an annoying thing to deal with, but it's still, if you're like me and you display these things in a cabinet like this, like how do you have the if you want to display your light features, how do you make where do you put the cables to have them running in and out? But I think it's a better alternative than what we used to get, where you just put in batteries into one of these things and the light feature would only last for maybe an hour or not even that. Here you can just, where they're plugged into a major source like that, into a major outlet, you can just leave them on for as long as you want, which I think is pretty cool, and it all works out fairly well. So, and again, I love that pose for Batman, where he's just kind of half on the bike, half off. You can still see him really well. He's not standing up. He's on the bike, but he's not completely sitting down or standing up. He's just in the process of dismounting it and getting ready to go kick some ass. So, yeah, pretty cool setup, I think. This is probably how I will leave it for a while. So definitely a good addition to the overall Batman display.